Hello, this is the Magnate. By now you know that the Magnate is a program where we tap from the wealth of knowledge of successful businessmen that we call the Magnate, business mogul, those who have really excelled in their chosen field of endeavor. The purpose, of course, is for us to tap from their wealth of knowledge and endow the upcoming entrepreneurs. And today we have one of such, who I must tell you, very modest, humble, but quite endowed.
Mr. Adebola Akindele was born on November 25, 1964 in Ibadan, Oyo State. He is an alumnus of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Agriculture. He holds a Master's degree in Banking and Finance from the University of Lagos. He is a Nigerian entrepreneur, business strategist, and philanthropist. He is the Group Managing Director of Courteville Business Solutions, provider of information technology, consulting, and business process outsourcing services. He is a member of the Board of Advisors of the East Africa Business Network. He was recognized as one of the 21 Nigerian technology CEOs at the top of their game by the Africa Business Central magazine. To start from the world of knowledge of our Magnate for the week, we hand you over to our main anchor.
One other aspect that is of interest is that you are not only training them even to perform, you are further exploring their potential to even be self-sufficient, which emanates during your skill acquisition program, which is another plus to you and your organization. You see your staff, your team members being part of the trainers and then training people that come around, allowing them to, they even confess that sometimes they even use that as part of the income generation for themselves. Whatever, how did you get this that you know that you just have to be selfless to allow other people to grow, unlike the natural capitalist tendency of any businessman?
Yes, first of all, I always explain to people that I'm not the average Nigerian capitalist or even international capitalist in any way. But that doesn't make them wrong, the capitalists. That is who they are. It's who they are. And the skill acquisition program is one program that I'm so proud to insist to everybody that it came out of my staff initiative, not me. And I've always explained to people that, including them, especially them, that look, you cannot become that entrepreneur that you always prayed to God to be, and you get to that point. And then realize that the next step is what? To acquire and keep everything for yourself and your family. There's nothing guaranteed in life. The best for me is to give back to the environment, to the community, to everybody. Just share it, because that is what will make. There are people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and when the extra 1 billion that comes to them adds to their wealth, does not have the same kind of utility that 1,000 naira will have to do like you and I. So what do they do at that point? Because you get to where you are, where you have always prayed to be, and suddenly you don't know what to do with it. Let others, bring others up, lift them up. My staff came up and said, we need to do something. We have always done things for the community as an entity. Even as a person, I try to do the best I can. But then we looked at it and said, okay, what we can do is to also teach people. And I did not have the idea of, look, I did not know that a lot of my staff also had skills in vocations beyond what they do here. I did not know so many of them. I knew some of them did. But only for me to realize that they could actually take the whole program on their own, teaching people different skills, sewing, baking, soap making, a lot of stuff. So we decided that we would just, okay, let us use it as a part of ourselves. It will affect work, but we can spare 3 days. If you are every day, let us go and train them. That was how we said, let us even do for people around. The idea was that maybe we'll get like 50 if we were lucky. 3 years ago, we thought maybe we'll get like 50. 4 years ago, if we were lucky. In the first edition, we had about 300 and something people. And it was a shock, because we then realized that there was a huge need. And then we realized that it wasn't even just the immediate environment, the community. By the second edition, we had over 700. And then they started coming all the way from Ibadan, from Shaki. And you had people of all ages, all age brackets. students.
Ibadan.
Yes, yes. So you had one woman last year was about 85. The man was about 80 something, and they all came. And you had people that were attending different classes each edition. Now we just concluded our 7th edition. And I'm glad to say that we have taken well over about 4,000 now that we have used certificates to. We do not claim that what we train you will immediately make you rich or will start providing you money. But we are starting them off in areas that they can actually start earning.
And go to the next level.
Yes, and you take them off the street. You make them less reliant on others to feed them. It's totally internally funded. Yeah. As a matter of fact, at the beginning, the first 1 or 2 editions, they start themselves funded the materials that they used to train their students. It was when it became a lot larger that the company started funding it. And we've been approached by several agencies of government and different levels of politicians. We've always maintained, look, we will do what we need to do.
Interesting.
To the next level.
You're still on the Magnate, sir. Thank you for allowing us to take some time off your work today.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So let's look at another aspect of you which you may not readily want to talk about. About 2 years ago, I was just flipping through the social diary and I saw that you were nominated or elected, voted as the Man of the Year in Lagos State. You don't want to talk about it, but I tell you, you are all over the place. You earned it, didn't you?
Well, to the glory of God. It was, I guess, because it went through a voting process, and there were
defeated a lot more than even
six very wonderful, very wonderful, deserving individuals from Lagos State. Yes. And it's an agency, it's a quasi-government agency of Lagos State that conducts it every year. And I guess I'm 6th or 7th of individual. And probably the first time or second time that an individual from the private sector was so elected. I didn't know how I got onto the nomination list of the first 100 or thereabout. I didn't know anything about it until they drilled down to the last 6 or 7. And I was just here when I was informed that this had to be done. And we were given the necessary information as to what we needed to prepare. So we do what we do. And people voted the way they wanted to vote. And it just came out and that was it.
Interesting. You just said it mildly, that 3 days and 3 days of a corporate organization, everything shut down, staff, personnel, everything, go there and serve the populace for nothing, free, with you investing so much money. That's a huge loss if you look at it, but you are not thinking of the loss, you are thinking more of the benefits to humanity. That's interesting. And this skill acquisition is also free. The participants don't pay. And you have even added another thing now. Apart from the skill acquisition, you are further training them more by sponsoring some of them, the privileged ones, to go on to continue to further this training among the... You comment on that, but you see, we are still chatting with this regime. Let us give you some of his team members that are training. We chatted with them. Let's bring that to you now. They are also young entrepreneurs who I believe have also learned a lot from this chat and other people. We'll be back shortly.
What advice would you give someone who is just going into events management?
Majorly, you have to be very hardworking because it's not for lazy people, I say. It doesn't need you have to have a lot of energy, but it's not for lazy people. It takes a lot of thinking, it takes a lot of research because you can't just say, I want to, because everybody's an event manager, I want to be an event manager. Everybody's planning party, I want to plan. It goes beyond just planning. What you are not interested in, there's no way you want to do it because a lot of pro bonus come into this thing. So I tell people, if you want to start, you have to have something you're doing because it's not something that will pay you off like almost immediately. It takes time. So you have to be able to do something, a major thing that gives you your money like at least, or a side also. Then this could be something you're prepping on the side, you keep doing it till eventually you come into the limelight. Right now I work at Courteville, I receive my salary, but I still do events. So if eventually at some point I feel, oh okay, I have been able to take care of this business that has grown to a particular stage, then I can resign and decide to sit back to my business.
What are your plans for the foreseeable future in the plans about?
Okay, eventually, my plan is to have an event house. And why I say event house is because I want it to entail almost everything. I want it to have a bridal shop. I want to have a caterer. I want a cake person. I just want an event house where you can it's just a one-stop.
Everything.
You have everything. You just come in and tell me, I have a wedding and I want a wedding that is going to cater for 1,000 people. These are my ideas. And I can bring all the ideas in one table and you see everything. That's my dream eventually.
You're welcome back, and I'm still with Dr. It's not an honorary doctorate, and researched Dr. Adebola Akindele, the Group Managing Director of Courteville Business Solutions. You're still on the Magnate, sir. Thank you for allowing us to take some time off your work today. You can't really wish it away because even over the years, you have continued to climb the ladder as Courteville being a company, one of the most friendly company to work in, from 13th to 4th to 3rd, and now you are being rated number 1. Am I correct?
Well, it depends on the rating agency. For a great place to work, we've always been number 1. We were second once, but if we first,
Okay.
Jobberman ranked us third. But that is because we have a particular culture that was built entirely with the welfare of staff in mind. And a great place to work is an international rating agency. And the first time they came to Africa was to come to Nigeria about 4 years ago. And that was when we came second amongst about 50 companies, including the big giants, all the
chips.
Yes. And the following time we knew that the only better result than second has to be first. And we came first, but not just in Nigeria, that was last year. But they had gone Africa-wide at that time. And in the area of the SME sector, we won the best, but we also won 4 prizes each time. Great place to work. Jobberman came to present us without even coming to us to see what we have. And they ranked us 3rd best place to work in Nigeria. All the glory to God. And the hard work of the staff, the people of Courteville.
Of course, that's because you are creating the right leadership. Well, why won't you get a great place to work? You are just one of the few organizations that have creche for staff. You take training serious. Recreation is optimal. And then, of course, other welfare packages. Like I asked earlier, don't you think that you're not thinking of the minus that all these monies you spend on welfare would eat deep into the company's coffer?
I learned a long time ago when a very wise man, late wise man, said that if you think education is costly, try ignorance. If you think making people happy and comfortable and enjoy their work is costly, then try the optimal. Even as a person within you, like I said, I'm not the typical capitalist. I like to see my people enjoy. I like them to feel like they want to come to work because they have a stake, and they do have a stake. The story of the creche is very interesting. The story of all the recreational things that we do is part of the culture. They all come out of the attempt to make everybody happy. The leader is one, as far as I'm concerned, who should watch from a distance how well his policies, his strategies, his actions, and implemented on behalf of the team, how well it's working in that team and on the team. If we go on with the way we run, there's no how that each individual staff and their family members would not feel to be part of it. So if we do what we do, by the time they vote, they put the next person forward in Courteville. Why should Lagos State citizens or people living in Lagos, they don't know, or if he works in this place, we know what it means. So they are talking about and thinking about what we offer as an entity, not as an individual. The creche is fully funded, it's free. People are happier, husbands and wives, they bring their children. They can focus on their work because they know their children are going to come. They came back because the quality standard is so way ahead of anything around here that they've come to request They came last year to request for beyond the crèche preschool. We set it up. So this year they come to request for the nursery school, nurseries 1 and 2, because the idea is that, sir, how do we take them from this standard and then take them into, so let us continue to grow. We don't know where we'll end up yet. Only God knows. But we will continue doing what we do.
Congratulations. But even at that, sir, I'm aware that discipline is also optimal here. Otherwise, a lot of sentiments and laxity will be indulged.
Yes. As much as we spoil our people, they also know that they have a lot of benefits. I spoil people a lot, and but they also know, as part of the training, that you don't have to have a cane to set a child right all the time. There are different ways of convincing a child and getting them to do the right thing. Just like a leader is one that is able to get the subordinate or the protege to do the right things for the team without being coerced. That is the best result that you can get. Willingly doing things for the team. And we will have the odd, odd escapees from, odd people out that will do they find a way, the system finds a way of pushing them out. And often we've hardly needed to say we are sacking staff for this. It's happened once or twice. But in our history of almost 15 years, that you can count on one hand, on fingers on one hand, how many we've done. The system finds its own way of exiting these people. They won't just fit.
In all of this good story and all that, there must have been 1 or 2 challenges which you have alluded to earlier. But, a young entrepreneur watching, want to hear from your own story. How have you been able to wade through the challenges and so that you can learn and also use that to better his life?
So there have been challenges. There are still challenges. There will still be challenges in the future. And the best thing to do is to be prepared for them. In the area of what we do, of course, we've had challenges. Like I said, we've lost in the area of some businesses. We've lost in the area of attempting to cross, the borders of Nigeria. We've lost in the area of even our work with government. We've lost in our people sometimes, but every single time we never allow it to weigh us down. Like I said, failures is part of your story. It's never a destination, just like successes. But the problem with a lot of individuals and entities and companies is that they are not prepared for it. I've had to learn very early in life not to expect too much. Whatever God brings to me, I believe is mine. It will never pass me by. So when it doesn't come, I also believe that is because God knows that is not mine. We had our own issues. We still have our own issues. A very recent occurrence is when, for the first time ever, in almost 14 years at that time, we had an issue on the board. The first time, they had a disagreement, and it almost collapsed the whole company. But thank God we weathered it. We are still standing. And, God has to test you. The best of humanity, I believe, the best of humanity over time have been the prophets that are closest to God. When people tell me that they've always gotten what they wanted, they better be careful. That's what I say. Be careful. Because life is not supposed to be like that.
Straight on.
You're supposed to be. Now, the best of humanity are the prophets. But I ask people, tell me which one of them ever had an easy life. They were challenged all through their lives. If they were God's people, if they were challenged, who am I to think that they will not come? So it's part of my life. I don't see them as challenges. I see them as part of what I have to live through daily, and I have to find solutions to. That's what I do.
Interesting. Finally, sir, you have been at the helm of affairs in this company and talking about succession plan. How do you see Courteville Business Solution, the group company that is, in another 5-10 years from now?
In 5 years, as a matter of fact, in 3 years. We started this company. We did not expect. We were not even praying to God for it to be this size. We did not expect to find ourselves there. But by God's grace, it's like this. The vision that we started with is old. I'm 56 now. At the EXCO level, yes, at the EXCO level, we have played our roles. We have acquired that experience. We have played our part. Now, the vision has to be as old as we are. But the vision that is as old as we are can no longer be sustainable in the by international standards, like the global, standards of things. So we have to allow the people, younger ones that we are training, that are younger, they are stronger, they are more social, they are more intelligent, they are vibrant, they are everything that we are no longer are, to take charge. But we are growing them into that system. I told you about the knowledge management gap in Courteville. At that time, we had the most senior person as deputy manager. Now we have people that have risen. The middle management cadre is now so full. And they are testing themselves and pushing hard to be part of those that will run the company. In 2-3 years, we should be ready to start exiting quietly. And I see Courteville in 5-10 years' time as one that is of that international standard, whereby it is the young men and women that are in charge and are able to match whatever is out there outside Nigeria, outside Africa, internationally. That can only be because we are no longer in the space that allows us to be able to compete internationally.
Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity of peeping into your life and your business life too. So that's our package today, the Magnate, lending a voice to business growth. I hope you have been able to get tips to grow your business on this edition of the program. We've been chatting with Dr. Adebola Akindele. There's no barrier between him, and when you see him interacting with his staff, he's going to tell us about that. You'll be wondering, is this the MD? Is this the group MD and all that? Everybody calls him Saboli. Where did that come from, sir? Saboli, even the receptionist, everybody calls him Saboli.
Everywhere I've worked, everywhere, somehow I always seem to acquire different pet names. Let me use that. And it started right from school, and everywhere I worked. When I got into Oceanic Bank, because I then become a proper manager, and it was Uncle B, because that was what everybody called. Because one person would just come out and call you a name, and it just sticks, because I answer everything that you call me. And then by the time I moved to Fountain Trust Bank in 2000, one of the young men around there decided to address me as Saboli, and the rest of the system picked it up. So I became Saboli. But if you look at Courteville, some people call me Sabi, like Alajishon. That's what they knew me as when we worked together in Oceanic Bank. Some people will call me Uncle B because they knew me from then. Some people will say Saboli because that was what they heard people calling me from here. I'm everything and more than whatever it is they want to call me. And the GMD is a role, but I'm still a staff of Courteville, and I'm part of the team.
Thank you for your modesty and humility. I hope a lot of other CEOs will learn that from you, so that the job can really go. It's not until you are very harsh or, you must turn it down on them before they know what to do. Thank you very much. So that's our Magnate for the week. Do make it a date with us same time next week. Remember that this program is open for participation and sponsorship so that we can endure, because there is a lot to learn from these well-endowed magnates for the young entrepreneurs to learn from. Join us next week for another edition. Bye for now.